Hey everyone. So I hear you have some questions for me. It says here, okay, how did I come up with the idea for the book? And how did you come up with a worm and caterpillar being friends? So those answers all started with a sketch. So I'm always just having random ideas and sketching them in my sketchbook. Sometimes I sketch them on a computer. So I just had this idea, what if a worm and caterpillar fell in love? And the worm said, "You are perfect, never change." And the caterpillar said, "Let's grow together." So already there's automatically a problem there because, of course, worms don't change that much and caterpillars change a lot. So then I started to think, I always loved Frog and Toad. And I always wanted to write a story about a friendship like that. So I started to develop the idea of, so what if they were friends? And what happens to their friendship as one of them goes through a big change? So you see at the back of the book where, a worm, he gets to be a bigger worm and then lays eggs, and then the eggs have baby worms. And actually, I have a secret for you. There is a second book coming, and it's called Worm and Butterfly. The tentative title is Worm and Butterfly Apart. That's probably going to change. But in that story, Butterfly migrates and Worm lays an egg and stays where they are and makes a new friend. And that friend, don't tell anyone, that friend is not a robin. The friend is a bird that doesn't eat worms. But that bird friend has a friend who's a robin, but the robin has also migrated. So both worm and the bird are alone during winter time. So stay tuned for that. I wrote the book, but I haven't started to illustrate it yet. So that's gonna take a while. But I'm always exploring the idea of friendship because it's something I've struggled with in my life. And I have since been able to have resilient friendships, great friendships. You saw that video with me and Jessica. Jessica is a great friend of mine. And so let's see what your other questions were. What medium do you use for your illustrations? So I do love to draw. I always draw in my sketchbook. You can see in some of these, this is an early drawing. So this is what I'm turning into my publisher just to get their approval before I turn it into these full pages. So you can see how much that changed. This little yellow box is actually where my publisher put in some notes about things they wanted me to change. So they wanted this to be a big page like this. We got rid of some of the text, so you don't see the text bubble here. So we did a big full page and then hand lettering. But I always draw in my sketchbook. I carry a little sketchbook with me in my purse wherever I go. But because I love to use technology, I do most of my drawings on the computer. So the computer I'm on now, I can actually draw on the screen. This is a stylus. And so if I just come here, right there, I can draw on my screen and I'm usually using Photoshop. Probably some of you have drawn in a iPad. It's very similar to that. But yeah, I've been using Photoshop for a long time. So that is what it's done in. And I'm also using really textural brushes because I love texture. And some of this you will notice looks a lot like watercolor. So I'm also using watercolor brushes. So doing kind of a combination of those things and using an inking brush. That's set up in my Photoshop to do like this outline kind of work and this whooshy watercolor. But yeah, those are great questions. So I know you have your big vote coming up on Friday. And I know it's hard to choose between two books, especially since both books are so different. I mean, this is a graphic novel and it is fiction, and Jessica's book is a picture book that is nonfiction, told from the perspective of that spider. But both books are great. So just go with your heart, go with your gut. You can't make a wrong decision here. So we're just so grateful that you chose us. That means a lot. And we're excited to see the results. Thanks again. Bye. I'm coming back because I realize you have more questions for me. You also asked me, how did you choose what is in the dirt when worm hides from butterfly? That was really a fun spread for me. I just thought about things that are hiding in the ground. I was illustrating a book, and that's coming out very soon, Ollie, the Acorn and the Mighty Idea. So I was already thinking about acorns and sprouting acorns. I can show you really quickly, Ollie. This is the book, and Ollie actually turns into a gigantic, this is some of the reference that I keep here. So Ollie turns into a gigantic tree monster, and then he eats his bully. So I was already thinking about acorn. So that's why I put an acorn in the dirt. And you can see here's end paper that I drew a bunch of acorns in. And then if we go into the end paper in the back, I have too many things going, which is why it's slow. Do you see the sprouting there? So the sprouting acorn, and then wouldn't it be fun to find a diamond in the ground? When I was little, my brother and I used to try to dig all the way to China, and we lived in North Carolina, and so I would dig up a bunch of clay and turn it into little pinch pots, and I would leave them to dry on the side of the sidewalk. Um, but always digging and trying to see what I kind of thought maybe a dog had hit a bone somewhere. Cicadas, there's going to be a whole bunch of cicadas that come out this year. So I thought about leaving a cicada in there. And who doesn't want to find a dinosaur school? So this would be a very small dinosaur because think about how big a worm is. But that's how I decided what would be in the ground is just, what would be fun to draw and what I was thinking about and what was on my mind. You see here, instead of, I did put a treasure chest here originally, but then I changed it into a dinosaur skull. And the publisher let me do whatever I want. They might have changed it if there was a problem, but I just thought it was fun to put those in there. And what else did you ask? Did you publish your own work? Uh, no. I am published with Simon and Schuster. Simon Spotlight is a part of Simon and Schuster. So no, I don't publish my own books. A big publisher publishes my book. What other books have I written? Jessica and I are working on a class together because we're also teachers. So we're working on this covers class. So I can show you this really quickly so you can see all the books that I wrote. So here's mine right here. So oh, I went too far. Those are Jessica's. So I wrote Swim Jam and I wrote Bitsy Bat School Star, Worm and Caterpillar are Friends. These are some books for older kids, teenagers. So this one is parodies on classic nursery rhymes, and this one is a lot of comics and art parodies. This one's pretty dark. This a Cat versus Vac I wrote, and that one you might want to take a look at. It's pretty fun. There's the cat and a dog and a snake and a rat do battle with a evil vacuum cleaner. This one's really funny. And then Ollie, which I mentioned before, I wrote When You Love a Book, but my friend Heather Brockman Lee illustrated it. Go Go Dino, and I have several other books coming out very soon. As far as doing the covers, yes, we designed our own covers. And in fact, this is what this whole class is about, how you design a cover. So I can show you really quickly. So if you look down here, I can show you all. Okay, so when you get an assignment to do a cover, you always give them a bunch of different sketches. This is the one they ended up liking, but here are some of the proposed covers. So they liked the idea of both of these, but they wanted me to combine the words of this and the tree and the positioning of the characters like this. But here were some of the other things. So I like to be silly, but it does come up with new ideas. Just the two of them very big, them looking through a window that's a butterfly, already in transformation, a night scene. This is based on the were American Gothic. This was the birds one. So yeah, I designed my own covers and I did the hand lettering on the cover too. So this is my writing on the cover, except for that right there. Great. Awesome. That's it. Bye.